"You're a disgrace to this hospital." Dr. Langford's voice exploded through the emergency room, slicing the tense air like a scalpel. His hand slammed down on Amelia's clipboard, sending patient files flying across the sterile floor. Gasps echoed from every corner. The janitor stopped mopping mid-swipe, nurses froze in place, and even the heart monitor beeped louder for a second. Amelia, a nurse with 5 years of unbroken service, stood frozen, her cheeks glowing red with shock and shame. She hadn't even spoken, no explanation, no chance, just a public execution in front of her peers. The accusation was brutal, that she had administered the wrong dosage to a patient. Something Amelia, meticulous and methodical, knew she hadn't done. But Dr. Langford didn't want to hear it. He was the hospital's top surgeon, untouchable and feared. "You're fired. Get out of my hospital," he bellowed, his words cutting deeper than any scalpel. With trembling hands, Amelia collected her belongings, while whispers swirled around her like vultures circling a wounded animal. She didn't cry. Not there. Not yet. That night, back in her small apartment, Amelia sat on the couch, still in her scrubs, staring blankly at the wall. The moment played on loop in her head. She thought about the elderly woman she stayed late with last week just to hold her hand, the intern she covered for when he froze during a code blue, the double shifts, skipped meals and holidays spent in trauma bays instead of with family. Had it all meant nothing? How could 5 years of loyalty be erased in 30 seconds? But while Amelia suffered in silence, something else stirred behind the hospital's walls. The ER's security camera had recorded everything. And by morning, the footage was everywhere, on phones, in inboxes, playing silently in the break room. It showed the truth. Amelia hadn't raised her voice. She hadn't made a mistake. It was Dr. Langford who lost control, who humiliated her without cause, who struck the clipboard from her hands in rage. The silence that followed was deafening, and then it broke into a storm. By noon, over 700 staff members had signed a petition demanding Amelia's reinstatement. Comments flooded the internal portal, doctors recounting how she'd caught errors that saved lives, nurses describing her as the glue of the ER. Patients who remembered her touch, her voice, her kindness, began to speak up too. One mother wrote about how Amelia stayed with her son through a 10-hour surgery, even though she wasn't assigned to his case. The administration couldn't ignore it. An emergency board meeting was called that afternoon. Dr. Langford was shown the footage and asked to explain. He gave a clipped apology, trying to salvage his reputation, but the board wasn't buying it. He was suspended indefinitely pending review. The same day, Amelia received a formal apology, a reinstatement letter, and a promotion to head nurse of the ER. She was told her new role came with not just a title, but the respect and acknowledgement she had always deserved. When she returned to the hospital the next morning, the entire ER staff stood waiting. As she walked through the doors, the room erupted into applause. Some clapped, some cried, some simply nodded, acknowledging a truth that was now undeniable. Amelia, tears in her eyes, whispered, "Thank you." But the moment needed no words. The walls that had watched her fall were now the same walls witnessing her rise. The incident sparked policy changes, mandatory conflict de-escalation training, a new whistleblower protection clause, and anonymous misconduct reporting channels. Real change, real accountability. Not just for Amelia, but for every healthcare worker who'd ever felt invisible. Sometimes, the loudest voice in the room isn't the most powerful. It's the quiet one that keeps showing up, day after day, doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.